Most people think stretching is, well, just stretching. But there is more than meets the eye. Stretching, flexibility, mobility, they all tend to be rolled up into a single, very misunderstood category. And they are not all the same, for your body, in their intent, or in their unique goals. The truth is that understanding the difference between these ideas is the first critical step toward unlocking your body's true potential, improving your movement, and bulletproofing yourself against injury. It's not about just loosening up or attempting to get the blood flowing. It's about preparing your body for the demands you are about to place on it. This fundamental misunderstanding is the root cause of countless ineffective warm-ups and cool-downs I've witnessed over the years, particularly as paddlers move into the gym. An athlete might hold a hamstring stretch for 2 minutes right before attempting a heavy deadlift, inadvertently dialing down the very power they need to lift the weight safely and effectively. Conversely, someone might perform a few quick leg swings and then wonder why their deep squat position hasn't improved over months of training. Your body is a complex system of tissues, joints, and neurological signals. To optimize it, you must speak its language, and that language requires understanding. We need to separate the concepts and address them individually before we can integrate them into a cohesive strategy to improve movement on and off the water. First, let's define our tools, starting with the one everyone knows: static stretching. This is the classic stretch and hold method. Think of reaching down to touch your toes and holding it there for 15 to 60 seconds, feeling that pull in the back of your legs. When we stretch, we begin to lengthen the muscle, or group of muscles, and while it does relieve stiffness, the length and relief we get from it is temporary. This technique creates relaxation and elongation of the muscles and connective tissues. It's a passive activity, using body weight, a strap, or another limb to apply force, but it is temporary. Static stretching is most effective when the muscles are already warmed up, such as following a workout during cool-down movements. But there is another type of stretching that involves controlled, active movements through the range of motion, which, when performed correctly, does a better job at mimicking our sport-specific patterns. Next up, dynamic stretching. Dynamic stretching uses active, controlled movements through a joint's full range. Controlled leg swings, arm circles, walking lunges with a torso twist. Controlled and active, holding each movement for 2 to 5 seconds. Not bouncing or forcing range with momentum. You use your own muscular power to move through it. It also raises core temperature, improves blood flow, and wakes up your nervous system. It's a dress rehearsal for movement. In fact, most studies report that dynamic stretching maintains or improves performance in strength, power, speed, and agility, and also increases flexibility and range of motion. This type of controlled, intentional stretching is best done before workouts to prime your body for the specific demands of what is to come. Now, flexibility. Flexibility is the ability of muscles and connective tissues to lengthen passively. It's the available range at a joint without control. For instance, the ability to lift your leg without someone lifting your leg deeper into a hamstring stretch for you. Static stretching is the most direct way to improve flexibility, which is why it's best performed once your muscles are warmed up and pliable for maximal flexibility gains over time. And finally, mobility. Mobility refers to the range of motion you have. It's how well you can actively control movement across a joint's range of motion. It's about strength, coordination, and motor control to move safely and efficiently. Think of a deep squat movement. Flexibility is what gives you the passive range in the ankles, hips, and spine. Mobility gives you the strength and control to get into and out of that squat with good form and power. Mobility equals flexibility plus control. It is the true measure of functional movement. So how long do you need to hold a stretch to get the desired effect? The research gives us clear guidelines. For static stretching, aim for holds between 15 seconds minimum to 60 seconds maximum. Less than 15 seconds is often not enough time for the nervous system to relax, and holding a stretch much longer than 60 seconds gives little extra benefit, and it can reduce performance before explosive activity. Aim for about 90 to 120 seconds total per muscle group, broken into sets. For example, 3 sets of 30 seconds. Stretch intensity also matters. Always stop at mild tension or a light pull. Never push into sharp pain. Pain triggers a protective reflex and makes muscles tighten, which is the opposite of what we are trying to achieve. Instead, think of stretching as a gentle conversation with your nervous system. Consistent static stretching improves the passive range of motion roughly 6% to 19%. That's a meaningful change you will be able to feel. For dynamic stretching, we measure by reps or time. Do about 5 to 10 reps per movement or 30 to 60 seconds per muscle group. Move smoothly and deliberately through the full range, focusing on the quality of movement as you feel your muscles engage and joints articulate. This dynamic work primes you for more complex and powerful actions. You can expect a range of motion gain of about 6% to 13%, along with an elevated heart rate, increased muscle temperature, and improved neuromuscular activation. Dynamic stretching bridges rest and readiness and is ideal for pre-activity warm-up. Post-workout, static stretching is the hero, as it can help restore muscles to their resting length and may aid in recovery. It's also highly effective in a separate, dedicated flexibility session on a rest day. If you must use static stretching before activity, keep the holds very short, under 30 seconds, and always follow them up with dynamic movements to wake the muscles back up. The goal is not just to become more flexible in a general sense. The goal is to improve your posture, mechanics, and control through a full range of motion, which is the essence of high-quality movement. This requires a targeted approach. All right, let's put this all together. Dynamic stretching is all about preparing your body for action through controlled, active movement, guiding your limbs through a full range of repeating movements to warm muscles and joints. Think high kicks, torso twists, walking lunges, arm circles. Unlike ballistic stretching, which involves bouncing or jerking, dynamic stretching is smooth and deliberate to reduce injury and prepare your body. You are actively contracting one side to stretch the other. This process, known as reciprocal inhibition, is how your body moves naturally. You are essentially rehearsing the movements you are about to perform to paddle or work out. The primary benefit? It accomplishes multiple goals at once. Raises temperature, increases blood flow, excites your central nervous system. It improves the connection between your brain and your muscles, enhancing coordination, reaction time, and force production. Instead of telling your muscles to relax, dynamic stretching tells them to get ready to work. It's the superior choice for a pre-activity warm-up. It should be the cornerstone of your warm-up for virtually any physical activity. Move from general, simple movements to more specific, complex ones, culminating in total readiness. The argument over static versus dynamic has confused athletes for decades, but the research is clear. It's not either or, it's when. Just remember this: you need to prepare your body for movement with movement. Dynamic stretching should be the foundation of your warm-up routine before any training session, practice, or competition. The proper order is a warm-up of 5 to 10 minutes of dynamic stretching, followed by the main activity, and then static stretching to cool down. Once you have trained, static stretching finds its home after your workout or in separate intentional flexibility sessions. Athletes who require extreme ranges, gymnasts, dancers, martial artists, may need brief pre-activity static stretching. But if you must use static in a warm-up, keep it brief, less than 30 seconds, and always follow with comprehensive dynamic movements. While the general rule is to separate them, you can combine them strategically, especially if you're particularly tight. Use a brief static hold to unlock range, then immediately teach control with a dynamic drill. For example, if tight hip flexors limit squat depth, then perform a 15 to 20 second kneeling hip flexor stretch. Then 5 to 10 seconds of controlled leg swings or deep walking lunges. The short hold eases protective tension without dampening power. The dynamic move reinforces the new range and reactivates the nervous system. It's about creating range and then owning it. Now, it is essential to get the most out of your performance individually or as a team to understand how stretching impacts your power and flexibility. You may not realize it, but the type of stretching you do before you train or compete can have a direct and very measurable impact on your performance. This isn't just theory, it's been proven in labs and by performance practitioners in the field. The most significant finding? Prolonged static stretching right before activity reduces maximal force and power every time. Yes, that's right. Studies show that holding static stretches for 60 seconds or more can cause a temporary decrease in strength, jump height, sprint speed, and with a reduction typically by 2% to 5%. Yep, it could very well be the difference between winning and losing or hitting a PR. Long holds reduce stiffness and neural drive for fast force. Less stiffness means worse force transmission, like jumping on a soft mattress versus a firm floor. So long hold static stretching is a poor pre-game warm-up for a power athlete, paddler, sprinter, weightlifter. You're putting muscles to sleep when you need them awake. Dynamic stretching, in contrast, maintains or can slightly improve performance by rehearsing movement patterns and increasing neuromuscular activation, increasing post-activation potential. The result? Power, speed, and agility are preserved or slightly boosted, with research finding improvements up to 3%. Every bit counts. You choose your protocol to match your session goals, so don't waste the opportunity to perform at your best. When your goal is to cool down, recover, increase long-term passive flexibility, then post-workout static stretching is your best friend. But if you need to perform at your peak in the next hour, prioritize a dynamic warm-up. That ensures muscles are warm, joints are mobile, and your nervous system is primed to produce maximum force. Your warm-up should build you up for the task ahead, not take away from your capabilities. Okay, one more recap. We've established the difference between stretching types, but the distinction between flexibility and mobility is the final, crucial piece of this puzzle. Remember, flexibility is passive. It's the range of motion you have. Mobility is active. It's the range of motion you can control. You can have great flexibility, but poor mobility. A therapist may lift your leg high, but if you can't lift it there yourself, you lack mobility. It's really important to remember this. Your body is designed as an alternating pattern of stable and mobile joints. For instance, your ankle is designed for mobility, the knee for stability, the hip for mobility, the lumbar spine for stability. When a mobile joint becomes stiff, like hips from sitting, stable neighbors compensate by becoming more mobile. That's a recipe for disaster. A stiff hip often leads to an unstable, painful lower back or knee. Improving movement isn't stretching everything. It's restoring mobility where needed and reinforcing stability where required. Use dynamic warm-ups for active control, strength training for stability, and targeted soft tissue work for mobile joints. Now, let's put it together. Forget the confusion and follow these 3 clear steps. First, before any workout or sport, perform a 5 to 10 minute dynamic warm-up to prepare your body for movement. Second, after your workout or in a separate session, use static stretching, holding each stretch for 30 to 60 seconds to improve your long-term flexibility. Third, focus on improving your mobility by working on active control over your entire range of motion. By the end of this, you won't just be stretching, you will be implementing a precise system to enhance your body's function, hit a new personal record, play with your kids or grandkids without pain, or simply feel better in your own skin every single day. The power to change how you move is within your grasp.